Now that we know how to create new files in Unix, we'll dive into how to view them, and then we'll kind of show how that's different than viewing directories. So in Unix, to view a file, you can type in cat, which is for short for concatenate. So an example would be cat test1.txt, and I can pull up our terminal here, and we'll go to the testing folder. We can list this out and we can take a look right here. We do have our two text files. And this is handy if I can, of course, view these, right? If I do nano and I want to go into it, I can come in here and I can view what's in it. But I have to like click, several different times to get out of there, and then I could accidentally edit it if I don't want to. So where this is handy is I can do cat test1 and it prints it right there for me. And now my other file here is multi-line, and you'll see that it also handles multi-line files. So concatenate is great if you just want to quickly see what's in a file. You can just print it out, the contents, very quickly, and it'll be good to go. Now, if I try to cat a test, like a directory, it's going to say, hey, you can't do that. It is a directory. So you can think of concatenating a directory as doing ls. So ls is like concatenating a directory. Just know that it is a different command for files versus directories when it comes to that. So we can move into how to rename files and directories. MV is going to be the command for renaming, believe it or not. And MV is going to be short for move. Now, the reason that is because you can think of renaming a file as moving it to a new location, and that's really what's happening in Unix. It's going to take the existing file and transfer it to a new file with that new name. And the command mv space, you can have the one file name space the new file name, and that's going to rename that file. Similarly with directories, mv space the old directory and the new directory. And I can go ahead and show this here. We'll start with the directory on this one. So I'll go back to my home and list out what I have here. I've been working in this test directory. Well, let's say I want to rename this test directory. I'll do mv test. I'll do space, and then man, I don't know what's a good name for this. I'll just do test dir so I know that it's a directory there. Enter. I'll do ls, and now we can look in here. It is renamed for us, and I'll go to it. And you can see it's got exactly the same contents as before. I'll go ahead and clear the screen for us here. Now, looking at some of these text files, this one, I can cat this one out. Welcome, bye for now, right? It's kind of like a welcome message. So I will go ahead and rename test2.txt to welcome.txt. And actually, this is a good time. I'm going to leave off the txt, so I'm going to forget that. I'm going to hit enter. It's still going to work for us. And I will list these out, test1.txt, and it's just welcome. Now, if you don't put a file extension in Unix, it's going to assume that it is still a text file. So I will go ahead and concatenate it. And you'll see it prints just fine. I'll go into it with nano, and it opens it just fine. Now, it is best practice to go ahead and put that file extension on it for everybody's sake. You and other people that are in Unix will be able to tell more easily what it is, what type of file it is. So I'll go ahead and do mv and rename welcome to welcome.txt again for us. We can list our files, and we have them right back there. So that is how you rename files and directories in Unix. One quick additional thing that I wanted to add is since our rename command is mv, and it's basically moving the old file to the new file, instead of just renaming, you can actually use this to move that file to different directories. So if I ls, I see that I have these two files here, and if I go back to my home directory, I don't have those files. I have like these two files here. So if I want to take my text2.txt and I want to put it into my test directory, I can actually do mv. I'll do text2, and then I can type in my test directory, and I'll do text2.txt, and I'll hit enter. So now I will list these. You can see that text2 is missing from my home directory. But if I go into my test directory, text2 is now moved over to it. I think it's an empty file, but oh no, it's a new file. So it has that as the file contents in it, and it moved it right from my home directory to my this test directory. So that's how you can also move files between directories. Now we will go ahead and talk about copying files and directories, and you can think of the action of copying just like doing Control Z, Control C, Control V in Windows, right? Copy and paste, exactly the same idea in Unix here. So the command is going to be CP, which is short for copy. So that one makes sense. And the way that it works is you're going to do CP space the file name and then space the new file name that you want to copy it to. So cpa1.txt space a2.txt is going to copy a1 and all of its contents into a new file called a2.txt. And we can go ahead and take a look at that. I'm actually going to make a new directory here called copying. I'm going to go ahead and go to it, and you can see it's an empty directory. I'm going to use nano to make a1.txt, and put some text in it. I'll go ahead and save this, and you can see that that is the only file in my directory right here. So now I'll go ahead and do cp a1.txt space a2.txt, hit enter. And a good rule of thumb with Unix is if you hit enter and you don't get any kind of message at all, that's actually a good thing. It means that whatever file command, whatever command in general you just ran completed successfully. So when you get a output is when you need to start worrying. So I'll do ls, and you can see that we do have a2.txt, and if I take a look at it, it's got the exact same contents of file A1 because it was a direct copy. Now, when it comes to copying directories instead of files, it's going to be a similar idea, but we're going to go about it a little bit different way. So I'm here in my test directory, and I have this copy directory. If I go ahead and do cp copying, and I'll just do copying to, and I hit enter, I get an output, which means that something didn't go right. So it says -r not specified, so it's omitting, which means it's not going to copy this directory for me. Now, what is the -r? You can see here when it comes to copying directories, you have to do cp space -r space the directory name space the new directory name. So cp -r old directory space new directory. I'll just try this first, and then I'll explain why you have to do the -r. So I'll do cp copying. Oh, I forgot my -r. It didn't come in there for me. cp -r copying, and then I'll do copying to, hit enter. Didn't get any kind of output, which means that it probably worked. And yep, sure enough, there is copying to. So I'll go ahead and go to this, ls, and you can see that it got my files in it. And even my files will have content, so it's a direct copy. Now, why did I have to do the -r? When it comes to copying directories, you're not just copying one thing, you're copying everything that's in that directory. So it's going to use something called recursion, and that's what the R stands for. It stands for recursively copying. And just a brief overview right now. We'll dive into this more in this course later on, as well as you'll learn quite a bit more about this in future computer science courses. But recursively basically means it is going to go to the most nested item in that directory and work its way up and copy everything that's in there. So you can do a little bit more searching on the topic if you want to, but for now, just know that when it comes to copying directories, you have to do that -R flag for it to work for you. Lastly, for this video, we are going to go over how to delete files and directories in Unix. So for this one, the command is going to be rm, and that's going to be short for remove, so that'll be fairly easy to remember. And for this command, you do rm space, and you type in your file name. So rm space a1.txt will delete the file a1.txt. I'll go ahead and open up Unix here. I'll clear us off some space. I will go into, let's see, I'll go into my copying to folder. And I have both of these files. I will go ahead and delete A2. So I'll just type in rm space a2.txt, hit enter. Didn't get any kind of output, so that means that it worked successfully. It is now gone for us. Now, similarly to copying directories, when you go to remove a directory, you also need to put in that -R flag, because when it comes to deleting the directory, you're not just deleting the directory, you're going to delete everything within that directory. And that recursive flag makes sure that every file, every piece of information within that directory is deleted. So it's also quite a powerful command. There's no confirmation of your delete or anything, so you really do need to make sure that you are trying to delete what you're typing in. So I'll go ahead and delete this copying to folder. Remember, that does have a file in it. So I'll go ahead and hit enter, and it doesn't work because it says you cannot remove copying to. It's a directory. So I will type in the -R flag. Doesn't matter if it's capital or not. I'll do that. No error message, no message at all, which means that it did work for us. And you can see that the copying to folder is indeed gone. And even though there were files in it, it didn't give me any kind of confirmation. Are you sure you want to delete? Didn't give me anything like that. So just be careful what you're deleting. There's no way for anybody to recover that once you type in that rm -R command to delete your folder. So just careful what you're using it on. Double check before you hit the enter key to make sure that you're deleting something intentional. So that wraps up this video with some create, update, delete, copying file and directory commands.